Raw is over. Let's go over all the major things that happened. The show kicked off with a segment where Adam Pearce said he wanted to speak to Seth Rollins, and he came out with about 20 other masked men. I don't really understand what the point of this segment was. Seth Rollins didn't even say anything. The Vision came out and Seth Rollins just disappeared into the crowd of masked men and escaped. The best thing that came from this was honestly this one dude who's probably like 300 pounds pretending to be Seth Rollins. I don't think anybody's confusing him for Seth Rollins, if I'm being honest. I'm not quite sure what's telling me that, but it's just a gut feeling. I'm not sure why they got some random Packers fan to be a masked man on Raw, but okay. But at the very least, even if this segment didn't really do much to advance any storylines, I guess it was funny. So, yeah. Let me know what you thought of this segment. I don't really know how to interpret this. Then we had the first match of the show, which was the women's number one contenders gauntlet match. This entire match, if you combine all of them together, was actually really good. It ended up being won by Bayley, who pinned Asuka. And another huge thing that happened, Ivy Nile pinned Io Sky. Now, yes, Raquel Rodriguez basically did all the work and took out Io Sky after she lost because she was being a sore, petty loser. But she still pinned Io Sky. That is huge. But Bayley is now the number one contender for AJ Lee's Intercontinental Championship, and she will face her next week on Raw. I'm also hoping this is the start of an Ivy Nile push, because I would love that. I think Ivy Nile has a lot of potential. As for who should win between AJ Lee and Bayley, I think definitely AJ Lee. After dethroning the greatest women's Intercontinental Champion of all time, probably the greatest women's wrestler of all time, you can't lose the title 2 weeks later. That would just be embarrassing. There was a scheduled match between the original El Grande Americano and Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. However, before the match, Danhausen had a backstage interaction with the original El Grande Americano, and he was rude to Danhausen, so he ended up getting cursed, and then he just disappeared. We have no clue what happened to him. I'm not sure what he did to the greatest luchador of all time, but whatever it is unacceptable. So what ended up happening was we had the other El Grande Americano answer the challenge, and before the match, after, OG El Grande interacted with Danhausen, you could see Ryo and Bravo, I believe, in the back, so maybe they ambushed him. I'm not quite sure. But this curse is obviously no joke, but Penta ended up retaining, and this is, of course, the right decision. Next, I am so happy! Finn Balor is finally out of the Judgment Day. Dom and Finn had a promo segment where Dom was, of course, pretty infuriated because Finn cost him the title last week. Dom ended up shoving Finn, and then Finn fought back, hit a Pele kick, and turned on Dominic Mysterio. He is officially turned babyface, but of course, since it was a 4-on-1, he got destroyed. Dom hit the 619 with the hammer. He also just smacked it with the hammer, hit a frog splash, and then a frog splash with a steel chair across his stomach, just destroying Finn Balor, but I could not be happier. We finally have babyface Finn Balor, and I cannot wait for their WrestleMania match. Please bring out the Demon. Next, this was kind of underwhelming. Olafemi versus Rusev was, I believe, the main event match. The match was literally like 5 or 6 minutes long. I mean, there was a moment where Olafemi tossed Rusev like he was a fucking cruiserweight, so that was pretty awesome. But it was just like a preview of what we could get, and I kind of wanted more. But if this is gonna be like a kind of like 7-game series or something, the Beat the Meat Off series, I'm okay with that. I would love to see 7 matches between these guys. The only issue I would have with that is that Obafemi would have to take pins. So I'm not really sure. I was thinking this was going to be the end of the feud. You let me know what you think. Obafemi ended up winning. This is definitely the correct decision. CM Punk yapping was the main event segment, and it seems like they're starting to revisit Jay being pissed. They just seem to drop this storyline whenever they want, then pick it right back up whenever they feel like it. They need to make up their mind. Like, is Jay gonna become more aggressive or not? What are we doing here? Jay Uso ended up super kicking CM Punk, so I don't know where this is going. If I'm being honest, are they just having them be the replacement until Roman gets back next week? I'm not really sure. But let me know what you thought of this episode of Raw. And another thing they need to do is stop ending the show early. This episode ended 9 minutes early. I don't know. They've been doing that like the past several weeks, and I'm not sure why, and it kind of makes me mad. I don't think this was that good of an episode. It was kind of just average, in my opinion. Some stuff felt underwhelming, like the Obafemi and Rusev match. The real highlight of the show was Finn Balor leaving the Judgment Day, which I am very happy about. I hope Penta continues to defend the Intercontinental title like this week after week, because that's what he's been doing like the past year. He's been having banger matches every single week and having the match of the night like almost every time. I'm excited to see who Danhausen curses next. Hopefully this curse on the GOAT El Grande Americano is lifted sometime soon. I'm excited to see Bayley versus AJ Lee, and I cannot wait to see who this masked man is. But that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Check out another video on the screen if you want. Like and subscribe if you want. And thank you so much for watching. And